director.
I'll start over on this. But yeah, the if you want to get SAG vouchers, then you want to talk to like the second or third AD or the PA, whoever's in charge of signing in the extras. And it's perfectly appropriate to say to them, hey, I'm trying to get my SAG card. Did you have anyone not show up today or cancel their booking that you have on a SAG voucher? Because I'd really like to get on the SAG voucher. And, they might say, go away. Or they might say, hey, actually I do. Someone did not show up. Here's a SAG voucher. And now you're one step closer to those 3 steps.
What's amazing is all about the humility that you have to have. And that's the training what you were talking about when you walk onto a movie set or when you show up for a call. There's a culture. There's a culture on a set. There's a protocol. I've done atmosphere work a few times. I did something in Burbank one time. It was like actually just a pilot. Nothing that was going to be picked up. Nothing by major actor, but sort of minor actors, but still sort of got backed by studio. It was a big deal. There was wardrobe. There was catering. There was everything. And they made us fill out forms and everything. And it was a lot of people were there. And they did 2 locations. And they took everything very, very serious. And it was like the ADs or whatever they are, not ADs, the PAs. Yeah, they're real militant. They're sort of like a obligar. They're sort of like a. Was it obligarchy there? Sort of like a obligorical. It's an obligorical structural system out there where everybody sort of falls into a natural caste system. Some who want and some who don't. All PAs automatically step over atmosphere, and they become it's almost like being bullied.
It's a trickle down atmosphere. It's like the PAs pick on the extras sometimes because they want to kind of make sure that they're not catching the brunt of something going wrong. It's really about the blame game. It's like no one wants to be blamed for the shot stopping or being interfered with or a delay in the schedule. So it's like, even though if you're listening, if you're present in your working background, you can hear the conversations. You can see the direction that a shot is going in, and you pretty much know before you're told what's going on. But a lot of people don't pay attention. They get their camp chair, they just sleep, and then they wait to be, shaken or something by a PA and told, hey, you need to go stand on set. But if you're paying attention, you pretty much know what's going on before the person telling you.
So I just thought of something. A lot of people come out to Los Angeles and Hollywood with no acting experience, and they jump in. But I guess the theatrical experience that you have to prepare you for that, because in theater, there's a lot of waiting. Changing of sets, changing a wardrobe, lines, so you always, to be in theater, I was in theater in junior college, I don't know if that counts, but I'll count it, put it on my resume, bang, Gloucester County College, thespian.
Yeah. Cool.
But here's what I'm saying.
You said thespian, right?
Well, yes, definitely.
You're all from Trenton, right?
Thespian.
Just making sure, okay.
Thespian, there's no alternative, there's no rumors about Trenton, it's just so
you're a Trenton thespian?
I am a Trenton thespian. You know who's a Trenton thespian? Nia Long's sister, Samore.
Okay.
She's a Trenton thespian. You knew who it was for a second.
I know she's a comedian. I know that they're sisters. They found out later in life.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, you know Nia Long.
Well, she went to Westchester High School.
She knows Nia Long. They went to class. They had gym class together. Christine hit Nia Long with a dodgeball. Knocked her down, stood over and said, West Side. Something about rooftop, I don't know. Back to you, Mr. Buffer. But here's the thing right here. So what I'm saying is, I know in theater, there's a lot of waiting. Yeah. There's a lot of changing sets. So when the natural matriculation, another big word, to be on a Hollywood set is just a little bit bigger than a college set, I would think. Just setting up for a college production. Just it's the same principles, the same discipline you have to develop. Once you go on a theater, you're not going anywhere for that day. You're locked. Your whole day is locked until they say you can go.
Yeah, but theater is a lot different from film in that, theater you repeat over and over again for an extended amount of time. Film, you do it once and you're done, and so that's the hard thing about when I get offered to do theater now, and I've produced theater too, so I understand, the whole concept of putting a production together. But when I'm offered a contract, it's like it doesn't pay as much as one day of work on a commercial or a film set. So it's like I have to turn down theater gigs now, and it's like it tears me because I still love theater. I still want to do theater, but it's just such a time investment because theater is drawn out and film is succinct. You go in, you might have only one day of shooting because you're only a guest star, or you only have 3 lines or 4 lines, and you're done. But it pays almost as much as 2 months of work on a theatrical production. So
tell me about the best time on a film or TV set. Tell me about the best time. Tell me about the best time that happened. The best time.
The best time.
Yes.
I've had.
Yes.
Well, I'd say recently I enjoyed, and this is another Santa story.
Yes.
There's a movie called A Screenshot for Santa, and it has a lot of famous names.
Okay.
But it's more of it's kind of like, I would describe it as maybe a BET Hallmark movie.
Okay.
So I'm not sure where it will come out next year, but that was a fun shoot because it was it's kind of like a Home Alone concept.
Okay.
But mostly an African American cast, and I was like the white Santa. So, and Santa comes to the rescue at the end because these 2 little girls are kidnapped and tied to chairs by these burglars, and Santa comes and rescues them. So, but it was a really fun environment. The actors were all talented. The crew was all talented. We were able to have fun and improvise a lot. I think improvisation is what makes an environment fun. A writer writes a script, but it seems to be more and more the case that the scripts become looser and looser, or the directors allow for a little play or exchange. And sometimes it almost feels like you are writing because it's so heavy in improvisation, and sometimes you go off on a tangent a little bit, but the director allows it because it's going in a good direction. And so I think that was what made that particular production fun.
I think that's all about character study. If you really study your character and you do all the necessary exercises and you do all the necessary drills and you get yourself into that character, you become that character. So it makes sense if you're properly channeling the particular character from that production play, and you've touched whatever embodiment that it becomes, that it naturally becomes you. So then you have to be allowed to improvise. It's almost like something jumps inside you, and you just have to be allowed to let it ride. And wherever it goes, that's where some of the best moments happen, is when directors leave that camera on. A lot of times, Terrence Malick would just leave the camera on. He'll just leave it on and film all kind of BTS, but it's stuff he'll use in the movie. Some directors will just be, they take a scene out. Because, the thing is about writing, everybody is so militant about their certain talent. So a writer thinks all their words are, their words are magic, which they are. But when you go on a production, I know it starts to change. It becomes a living organism. And that's why TV is so kind of cut and dry, because they already know the formula. They got the formula down. That's it. Don't do anything else out of that. Commercial break here, commercial break here, commercial break here. In a movie, it becomes something. All of a sudden, something takes the movie, and sometimes it can move it left and move it right, so the script has to move, the actors have to move. Everybody has to be very, very fluid. Fluidity, I think, is very important. And most of the projects you hear that are really successful, very fluid. There are a lot of the movies that you hear that fail, very rigid structure. So it's amazing that you say that. Okay, so what was your worst time?
Let me just add to your thought. I think that reality TV has changed the industry, because people are drawn now to that raw, unscripted kind of feel, and I think that's also now being scripted. It's like in a script sometimes you'll see, and now the actors just kind of like, it's almost like they improvise. They play jazz essentially on this part of the story. So I think reality TV has had an influence in what you're talking about. Let's break down reality TV, though, Ray Buffer. Let's break it down, okay? Because we're going to get back. You were actually on a show, which I watched and I enjoyed. Reality TV. Okay, so once you turn the camera on, you're being an actor yourself. And I know Chris Wright has done some acting in different productions and stuff. You become a character. You're not Ray Buffer anymore. Ray Buffer didn't get out of the car.
You become a character. Whenever the camera points at you, you become a character. So saying that when these reality TV stars get on in front of a camera, they are characters. They just but they go to the most easiest place to access. That's why great actors can access places that are so hard for the rest of us to access. Like, say what you want about Cuba Gooding Jr. when he does that one scene where he's crying from the helicopters. He accessed a place it's very hard for us to get to, and that's why we enjoy that place. Because here's this character accessing a place that I can't get to, but they got there. You know, like oh, wait 1 second. Oh, we were going good too. Oh, it's a dang camera. Okay.
Dave, could you troubleshoot just to make sure Ray's? I want to make sure everything is coming through on the video.
Okay, over here.
Just for a second.